Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. The earth shall soon dissolve like snow, the sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here below will be forever mine, will be forever mine. You are forever mine.
Good morning. Had to wait on the thumbs up from Stephen back there. So, thank y'all all for being here. Thank you, Amy, for that special. I really enjoyed it. We'll be have a couple different texts for our verses for our text this morning. So if you want to be turning to Matthew 6:21 and Colossians 3:23 in preparation for that. we'll get started in a second. So, number one, hopefully our pastor is having an absolutely relaxing and great time. I'm honored and that he would let me have a lesson this morning. So please do pray for me. Praying that I'm not supposed to, I guess, with that. So, but yesterday afternoon, I was driving out of town on 278, and I was headed up the bridge. I said, man, there is a lot of rain happening. You know, you're kind of looking up in the horizon. And I come across the bridge, and it wasn't rain. It was pollen. So, my voice is not be, but I think this mic out, going and coming. So, anyway, I will try to keep this as short as possible. I apologize about the mic issue. Try to keep it short as possible. But if you weren't in Sunday school class this morning, especially the young adult Sunday school class, we had some really good coffee. And I think the men make some pretty good coffee. So I may go 2 hours because the coffee was really good and strong this morning. So if you weren't in Sunday school, come next Sunday and you can have some coffee. And even if you're not a young adult like all us really, really young adults in our class, you can come join us. So we're not near as young as the title of our class dictates. But today's lesson will be on passion. So we're going to start out by reading Matthew 6:21 and Colossians 3:23. So the first one, Matthew 6:21, it says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And then over in Colossians 3:23, it says, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men." So that's our text this morning. We're going to be talking about passion. Stan, can you lead us in a word of prayer, please? Amen. Thank you. So when you hear the word passion, what do you think of when you hear the word passion? We know that next week, I think, is Easter. There's always a lot of talk about passion. The Passion of the Christ. They'll probably play that movie. But I'm going to address passion from a little bit different viewpoint this morning. But when you hear passion, passionate, what are we thinking of? So the definition of passion is a very powerful feeling, for example, of physical attraction, love, hate, anger, or emotion. It's got some definitions of passion, and I know that's kind of an eye exam on the screen there, but it says, for example, football arouses a good deal of passion among its fans. So prior to a lot of the liberal turns that Ole Miss has made, I was a passionate Ole Miss sports fan. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that Stacy is a passionate Mississippi State and Smithville Seminole sports fan, and Atlanta Braves, and on and on and on and on. I can't help she picks teams that lose all the time, but she is passionate. She's a passionate fan of a bunch of losers. But no, we see that people express their passion around sports. We see careers or music. We see people that are passionate about their art and their music. Yeah, I can't even play the radio, but we have a lot of talented people in this church that can play instruments, they can sing. I can't do either, but they've got passion towards that, right? We see people that are passionate about politics. This last election showed us, revealed a lot of stuff about just how passionate a lot of people are about political stances. So we see a lot of passion. I've got a few questions. I got 3 questions I want to ask this morning to East Amory Baptist Church. Number 1, are we passionate about our relationship with Christ? Because we can be passionate about a lot of different things. We can be passionate about football. We can be passionate about music. We can be passionate about our kids and their successes. But are we passionate about our relationship with Christ? 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says, "Pray without ceasing." So how passionate are we? I'm a passionate hunter, and my wife will definitely second that for sure. I love it. There's a particular camouflage brand that they came out with a new slogan several years ago, and it was their camo brand. It says, "It's not a passion, it's an obsession." And we hear a lot today about obsession. We are obsessed about this, obsessed about that. We got an obsessive compulsive disorder. We're obsessed about being clean. We're obsessed about a virus. We're obsessed about a political view. And I can tell you, obsession is being consumed by. And as Christians, we don't need to be consumed by anything other than our personal relationship with Christ. That should consume us. And just like 1 Thessalonians says, pray without ceasing. We need to continually. Now, we all know that we can't pray during our sleep. We all know that we can't, we have jobs, we have things, responsibilities, but we should be obsessed. It should consume us. Our relationship with Christ should consume us. We should pray without ceasing. That's difficult. That is not easy, because I know from a personal view, I can let my passions in life start to consume me. And when that happens, my relationship with Christ, which should consume me, doesn't anymore. I let that in, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting in church daydreaming about something else that is not Christ-related. Or I wake up in the morning and I'm obsessed with something else. I'm consumed by something else, and I put God on the back burner, and I don't have my Bible reading, or I don't have my prayer time. So, first question is, are we passionate about our relationship with Christ? And that's number 1. That is the most important thing that we're going to talk about this morning. Secondly, are we passionate about lost souls? And if we have our relationship with Christ is where it needs to be, then this will come naturally. If this is not one of our passions, then we should probably start doing some fact checking in our lives, and we should get number 1 fixed before number 2 happens. But are we passionate about lost souls? East Amory Baptist Church, Jeremy Carroll, am I passionate about lost souls? And most of the time I fail that test. If we were passionate, or if we are passionate about lost souls, then the pews will fill up. We won't have to have a new program. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with some of the programs that we do, but we won't have to have a new program to grow. It will automatically grow if we're passionate about lost souls. And with all the political stuff and all the wickedness that's going on around us, it's very easy to let that you despise some of the stuff that we're seeing. but we have to remember, hate the sin, love the sinner. Because there are people on television, there's people in local political, or in the local political arena that I can't stand what they stand for. I despise it. I hate what they're doing, but they have a lost soul. And so does everyone in this community that's not saved. They're lost souls. And until we get dedicated into being passionate about lost souls, then we're not going to be where we need to be. So Luke 19:10 is a verse that I want to read concerning this. It says, "For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost." So we're to pattern ourselves after Jesus. So Jesus came to this earth with one mission. That was to save lost sinners. And he was very successful. But that verse says, "For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save." Seek. That's a word that we kind of skip over sometimes. But what does seek mean? He says seek. Seek is to resort to go in search of, to look for. Brandon taught in Sunday school class last week about, he mentioned some stuff about witnessing. You know, a lot of times with witnessing, we wait for the opportunity to come to us. But are we actively seeking? Are we going in search of? And we got to ask ourselves that question, because we're not saved to become a member of a church and just sit there. That's not what we're called to do. Once we become Christians, we're not supposed to just, okay, I'm a Christian now, I'm going to do good, I'm going to go to church, and I might pay my tithes occasionally. That's not what we're called to do. Our responsibility as Christians is to lead other sinners to Christ. So the last question that I want to ask, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on, is, are we passionate about our local church? Psalms 84:2 is a really unique verse, and when I was studying this, I found it. But it says, "My soul longeth, yea, even fainteth, for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh crieth out for the living God." Now, I know that everyone in this room, Miss Jewel shaking her head, she woke up this morning reciting this verse because she could not wait to come to church this morning. I'm sure everyone else did as well. But this psalmist is saying, my soul longeth, yea, even fainteth, for the courts of the Lord. So, remember we talked about football, we talked about sports. I can remember that, watching a football game and it not going the way of my team and it just ruining my whole day. Getting really upset that my football team lost. But coming to church Sunday, and church, maybe we didn't have a great service, but I didn't get upset at all about that. Maybe no one was reached, but I didn't care about that. So how passionate are we about church? Being a member of a church is very similar to being a member of a gym. I thought about this when I was looking into it. Let's read Colossians 3:23 again. It says, "And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men." But how many people have ever been a member of a gym? Few people. All right. So I've been a member of a few gyms. As you can look at me, I'm not a member of a gym right now, not an active member of a gym for sure. But when you go to the gym, there's always different types of people in the gym. I can remember one specific guy. I'm not going to state his name, but he always stands out. Every time I went to the gym, he was there, but he never did anything. I mean, he was there. I never saw him on an elliptical machine. I never saw him on a weight bench. He was just always there. Maybe he did some stuff when I wasn't there, but every gym has got these people, you know, they're there, but they're not doing anything. And I can tell you, if you go to a gym, it's easy to walk through that door, but if you don't ever do anything, you're probably not going to get healthier and you're not going to get any stronger. Then there's always that guy or girl in the gym that walks around talking about what they're about to do. I'm about to bench press 600 pounds. I did 600 pounds yesterday. I'm going to do 650 tomorrow. And they walk around all swole up, but they don't ever do it. That guy's not getting, or that girl's not getting any more healthy, not getting any stronger. More often than not, that little old lady in the back of the gym that's sitting there walking on that treadmill, she's getting something done. I never forget, me and a couple guys joined the gym here out at a local hospital gym several years ago. It was probably 15 years ago. And we were going to get in some shape. One of my friends was going to get married, and he was going to get married on the beach. We were going to get in some shape. We were going to look good for the wedding. So we did some working out. We thought we were doing pretty good, and we said, total workout is swimming. So we said, we're going to start swimming. They'd open the pool up. So we roll in there, and we kind of stretching. We're looking around. We look at each other and say, well, how many laps we're going to start with? You know, first time in this pool. So let's start with 10. Let's not do too much. We don't want to hurt ourselves, but we'll work up to maybe 20 or 30. But let's start with 10. And I don't know when the last time any of you were in a Olympic-sized pool and tried to swim 10 laps. I can remember going the first half of the lap. The first quarter of the lap, I'm going strong. I'm like, man, yeah, it's not going to be a problem. About that second half of the first half, I'm like, I don't know if 10 is going to be doable or not. So I make it to the wall. I'm coming back. I'm like, I definitely ain't doing 10. I make the turn on the first lap, and I'm headed back to that wall for lap 1.5. And about halfway through it, I said, if I keep doing this, I'm about to break into a cramp in a pool. And I stopped. And the guy next to me, he stopped he said, man, I'm sure glad you stopped because I didn't want to be the first one to stop. Well, there was 3 of us. The other guy was going to prove us wrong, and he made it almost to the wall and started screaming like a 12-year-old girl. He had cramps in both his hamstrings. We thought we were pretty tough. And we're like, man, this swimming is tough. And I think she was from Vietnam. There was a lady in there from Vietnam, and if you would have looked at her, you would have not thought athlete. We'll leave it at that. But she held the record in that pool for like 50-something laps. So when she showed up to the gym, she didn't sit around. She didn't talk about it. She did it. And she got stronger, and she got healthier. And as a church, we're not going to get strong. We're not going to get healthy. We're not going to be a healthy church. We're not going to be a strong church if we're not active members, if we're not working out every time we come through these doors. There are so many things that happen behind the scenes. There's so many things, Sunday school, youth outreach, the cleanliness of this church, the building programs, the lot over there. There are so many things to be done in this church, and they're not going to get done unless we do them. We've got an amazing pastor that leads us. His job is to bring the word to us and to lead us. It's our job to make this church grow. So I'm going to ask one more time, are we passionate about our local church? Do we get upset when our church is not growing? Not just by numbers, but spiritually. 2 questions to leave you with. One is, have you ever had the passion? Because if you've never had the passion, this message or lesson may not have been for you. That's number one. If you're here today and you've never experienced that relationship with Christ, fix it today. There's no time like the present. Please, 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 I'll beg you to. Second question is, if you've had the passion, have you lost the passion this morning? Because there's been several times throughout my life that I've not been near as passionate about the 3 things we talked about this morning as I needed to be. And so if you've never had the passion, you got to fix that right now. If you've had the passion and lost it, let's fix that right now. And I guarantee you, if we do, then this church will continue to thrive and grow and be that shining light that we want it to be. Thank you.
Thank you for joining our service today. You can find us on facebook.com/East Amory Baptist. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell for updates. Remember, Jesus is coming soon. Are you ready? Thank you and God bless.